Right, hello. As discussed in the last video, I'm going to do a up close look at some of the cordyline species, more common ones, and some of the more hard to get species. As you can see, it is still quite windy and we've got a little bit of rain, so bear with me with the audio if we're getting some wind noise pickup. But we'll start with the most common of them all, and obviously my biggest specimens is the Cordyline australis, the standard green, which is going to be the easiest to get hold of and the most hardy out of the lot. I will just bring up the issue of pronunciation. I call them cordylines, whereas other parts of the world I might pronounce it cordyline. That is obviously how it's spelled, but the way I've always said it is cordyline, so I'll keep on saying it that way. So these are two side by side. I'm going to say they're put in the ground 9 or 10 years ago as no trunk, so that the plant itself may have been about the size of this little offshoot on the trunk here. So they were leafy but no trunk. So let's say in 10 years you can expect, I don't know, between 14 and 16 foot. Obviously I'll get to a size. I mean, interestingly, you've got two side by side here to compare. So this one is V'd off at about 6 foot in trunk, whereas the other one has gone to, I don't know, 8 or 9 foot before it's split into 3, that one. Whereas this one's gone into 2, then obviously multi-heads on top of them. There's the odd dead head on there, whether that is a frost situation or whether, I don't know, just branched off and didn't take. But yeah, we're not going to dwell too long on that. They are the most common ones, the standard Cordyline australis. Easy to get hold of, nice and cheap, easy to grow from seed. You know, make a good statement. They're going to be the tallest growing as well. So the second most common, got one round here, going to be the red star. So just like the red version of the Cordyline australis. This is the biggest one I've got in the ground. Let's see. May have about 2.5, 3 foot of trunk. At the top, obviously, the fronds are a nice sort of reddy brown, but as the older ones sort of fade off, they do sort of fade to a greeny towards the bottom. And if you buy one of these, they normally sound a tag, they sort of max out about 6 foot, but there's a few, I don't know, about 5 doors down from me, and they've got some in the front, a couple of nice clumps, and they're well over 8, 9 foot. So I think they're probably maxing out. I mean, you could possibly get 10 foot out of them. So that is the red star. There are variations of the red star. There's a little star, which is like the dwarf version of that, which is a lot more compact and stays smaller. One I always go on about is the superstar. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to do a side by side comparison. So this is a standard red star, albeit this is one I bought a couple of weeks ago actually from a garden centre reduced. It was about £3. So obviously it has taken a few frosts out in the open, fully exposed in the pot, so they're not 100% hardy to frost. These ones, they will show damage, they'll grow through it, but regardless of that, so this is a standard red star, and then we've got next to that the superstar. So there's the tag for the superstar. So it obviously is a variation of the red star, but as you can see, no comparison with the leaves. They're at least twice as thick, and they're glossy rather than the matte finish you'll get on the superstars, on the red star. So the superstar is by far the prettier plant, a lot more tropical looking with the wider glossy leaves, and if this specimen's anything to go by, they're a lot quicker growing as well. As regards to hardiness, being a fairly new cultivar, I wasn't 100% sure. This is the first winter this has gone through, so I'm going to suggest it's probably similar to the red star. I did buy a couple of these at reduced price last spring when we had all the frost, and they did take damage on the leaves with the frost, but you know, they, like I say, they're pretty quick growing, so they grew out of that in no time, so there's no you know, long-term damage from a bit of frost. So yeah, that is one of my favourite cordylines. This, like I say, it's just so much more tropical looking than the standard red star. Right, so that is the side-by-side comparison of them two, to give you an idea of the difference. Like I say, there are a lot of variations coming out now. Underneath the centre bed here, we've got a pink passion, which seems a little bit slower growing than a lot of the others. Obviously due to maybe to the colour, I don't know. But then we've got one I bought recently, which is called Salsa here, but I know some people say I've got one exactly the same that's called Charlie Boy. So they do go under different names, depends on the grower. So what I'm going to try and do, I'll just open this up. I've got a little flap here which I can open, so I can get a look at the colour without the perspex in the way. So I don't know if that's showing up 100%, but the pink passion is a lot lighter pink, whereas the salsa here is almost pinky purple. So yeah, I think the pink passion looks a little bit more washed out, but very similar looking in general. But yeah, nice splash of colour. Just tuck that back in. Yeah, it is windy. Let me just try and do this. Bear with me. Right. I'll leave that for now, I can't do it one-handed. Yeah, so that is a nice, if you want a pink or purpley variation, they're ones to look out for. So yeah, I try to do a side by side there. I don't know how well the colours are picking up on camera, but they're definitely a difference. I think I prefer this one. Like I say, the pink passion seems to be a little bit more washed out and not quite it's different colour, but they look quite nice. But when you get them side by side, this one definitely a winner for me. So let's come over here. I've brought a pot over from the front garden. So this one is can, so it's kind of a variegated leaf. It does come out a reddy pink and then fades down to the green yellow variegation, so you get the nice colour interest in the middle there. And then next to that again is like the similar one. Could say it's a straight variegated Cordyline, or I think they call them Torbay Dazzlers. So slightly lighter variegation in the leaf, and obviously the can's got that sort of stronger red come out the middle, where you have got a slight, it's going to go where I want to go, slight pinky peachy as it comes out, but nowhere near the coloration of that. So I mean, both very similar looking again, but slightly different. So not something you'd want side by side planted in your border, but you know, if you want something different somewhere else in the garden, that's, you know, if you like lots of variations of similar plants, then like I say, there's a lot of different cultivars about. One I don't show much, it's just tucked away at the back here, and it's normally in the summer got stuff growing over it. We've got this one, and I have lost the tag. I don't remember 100% the name, or the name that was on the tag. Again, that may be under a different name by different growers. I'm sure it's something like electric mint or something like that. So interestingly, I bought a small pot of this, and there was 3 small plants in it clustered together, and 2 of them are literally just plain, almost like a brown with yellow variegation. It's got the odd sort of streak of red. I don't know if that's picking up very well. Bit of a streak of red in there. So 2 of them are very similar like that, but the third one, you see here, it's got the green stripe in the leaf as well. So effectively, yeah, you've got the 3 brown, yellow and green stripes, and in the case of this leaf, you've got the brown, yellow and the red stripes. So they're a little bit more unusual. I've seen them about, they're not hard to get hold of, but again, something different. If you want something different from the norm, rather than just a green Cordyline, why not? So yeah, so I can't tell you much more about that. Like I say, I'm sure it was an electric mint or something like that, just due to the slight green stripe in the leaf. But let's see if we can get another one. See that leaf, green stripe both sides. So yeah, obviously a lot of variation in the same plant there, but yeah, a bit different. Right, so I know I'm not saying, oh, look at all these Cordylines, I've got every species. That's not about that. It's about what you like, and if you want something a bit different or slight variation, then why not? So we'll finish with the Cordyline indivisa, which is quite often sold under that name, and it's normally just a variation of the australis, sort of plain green one, because sometimes you do get a bit of a stripe in the centre leaf on the standard Cordylines, but this is what a indivisa looks like. You've got that strong orange midrib and almost veins going up the leaf with orange streaks and orange edge to the leaf. So I think the attraction to the indivisa is, as it gets bigger, they do get quite wide leaves. I believe they can get up to 3 inches across. They don't get huge, again probably about 6 to 8 foot, quite slow growing. They do like it on the moist side and probably not full sun. This one gets morning sun to about 11-12 o'clock in the morning, and that'll be in shade for the rest of the day, and that seems to like that. So I don't think that'd do well in full shade, but it definitely doesn't want afternoon sun. So this is, I mean, I bought this really by accident. I was buying some palms from a nursery online. I think it's based in Cornwall, and I bought a couple of palms from there, and I just thought, well, I'll have a look what else they're selling. And I see this one, a very small plant when I bought it, to be fair. It was literally, I don't know, only about less than a foot tall. And I kept it in a pot for the first year because I didn't really know what to do with it. I put it in the ground, and it has put on growth, albeit fairly slow. But yeah, it's pushed out a few leaves. I mean, last summer, don't need to remind everyone that was a bit of a poor growing season last year, so we'll see this year. Hopefully that'll pump out a bit more growth. But yeah, so that is what the indivisa looks like when you see it, compared to, I haven't got any small Cordyline australis, but if sometimes, like I say, you can get them Cordyline australis, the standard green, and they do have a slight orange midrib, and you think, oh, and that's why a lot of people sell them mistakenly for an indivisa. So, but that is, I would say, pretty distinguishable how different they look to a standard green, just due to the streaks of orange in the leaf itself all the way along, and the outer rim is orange as well. Right, so I think we've covered a few different variations of cordylines for you, and I'll just leave you on the fact that there's one I'm still trying to get hold of, which I've never seen, only online, and I think it's from the same growers that done the superstar. I think it's called Emerald Star. So it's basically going to be a glossy wide leaf variation, but it's a really sort of limey emerald green, really quite nice, tropical looking. So that's one I'm going to be trying to get hold of. It's one I'm looking out for. So if anyone knows or seen where you can get them online, let us know. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching.